My name is Dee Friesen. I'm a member of the Albuquerque Astronomical Society, and I want to invite you to this presentation in which I will discuss with you how you can use your cell phone to navigate the night sky. Just as a way of introduction, the Astronomical Society is a organization here in Albuquerque. We go to schools, we do a lot of public outreach. Should you be interested in learning more about astronomy, just Google Astronomy Club in Albuquerque and you will find us. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And then I'm going to get rid of myself so you don't need to look at me. And I will turn my, stop my video. And here we go. Using your cell phone to navigate the night sky. This is a very basic introduction to using your cell phone. I want to be able to give you some basic information on how you can use your phone to go outside, not only locate objects that you want to see, but identify objects that you see but you don't know what they are. I'm going to review the night sky, and we're going to start by using a sky map or a map of the sky, and I'll talk about this more in the presentation. We will look at how to use your cell phone after we look at the map, and I will give you examples of doing that. Finally, I have decided that I will use 9 p.m. on Wednesday, September 23 for all the examples and the charts and graphs that I show you. If you should go out a few days before or a few days after, it's not really going to make any difference. So if you can't do it on Wednesday, September the 23rd, that's okay. Just go out anywhere close to that and you'll be fine. Here is the sky map that we're going to use, and it's available at this link that you see down there, skymaps.com. I highly recommend that you download this map and look at it. I'm going to show you a full-scale picture of this map. And if you want to pause the PowerPoint or the presentation at this point, you can take a screenshot of this and then use that chart, and that would be adequate for what we're trying to do. So I'm going to begin by using the map to look at the south. And the way you use this map is you always make sure that what you want to look at is at the bottom. In this case, it's south. And then we're going to look for the constellation Capricornus, which you see there in the red circle. And it's going to be pretty easy to find because as you look to the south, you're going to see a very bright star. And to the left of that very bright star, you will see a second star not as bright as the first one. The first star on the left is the planet Jupiter. The second is the planet Saturn. They're very obvious. You look in the southern sky, you will see those even from the middle of the city. And then if you look to the left or east of that, you will see the constellation Capricornus. What I'm doing is giving you one example of a constellation in each direction of the sky that we will look at. Now we're looking to the west. Once again, you want to have west on the chart at the bottom. And you'll notice that when you do that, you're able to read the names of the constellations in proper position. They're not upside down like they are higher up in the map. In this case, we're looking for a constellation called Boötes. Kind of looks like an ice cream cone. And there's a very bright star in that constellation called Arcturus. Arcturus is the fourth brightest star in the sky and one that you will be easy to find. Now we're looking to the north. Once again, north is at the bottom. In this case, the constellation is pretty low down on the horizon, but it's also a familiar constellation. It's the Big Dipper, which is properly called Ursa Major. And you'll see the bowl and the handle. They show up pretty well in the sky, and they show up pretty well on your phone, which we'll look at later. Then from the east side of the bowl, in other words, the side of the bowl away from the handle, those two stars point to the North Star, which is called Polaris. Finally, we'll look to the east, and you'll see a constellation that has a big square. It's called Pegasus, and there you see the giant square of Pegasus. And just above the little east block there, you can see Mars, which shows up real well. It's a reddish color. That will be no problem. You'll be able to see that in the eastern sky. So kind of a basic introduction. That's what I'm planning to do here, is give you some basic information on how to use your cell phone. We're going to use an app. The app is called Sky Safari. If you've already got this app on your phone, and some of you may find that the menus and the menu icons and some of the features that I'm highlighting here will be slightly different because maybe you have an older version. What you can always do is you can just simply delete the app and then download and upload the most current one, and you'll be in business. I'm kind of assuming that most of you are familiar with how to get apps for your phone. The app is free and it's available for both the iPhone and the Android. This is what the app looks like in the Apple Store. It's called Sky Safari. And in the Android, it's called Sky Safari as well. And both of these are free. And it turns out that the app operates basically the same in either platform. Therefore, one set of basic instructions will work for both phones. It turns out if you go to your app store in the Apple and what they call it in the Android, you may come across an app called Sky Safari Pro. This is a very good app. It's going to cost you money to buy it. And unless you're an amateur astronomer and you're using telescopes, you don't need Sky Safari Pro. Just Sky Safari itself is adequate. Okay, once you get your phone and you get the app installed, in order to get the app, you simply click it like any other app, and it will appear in your phone. This is what the app will look like when you first open it up. When you open the app, if you're pointing south, let's say you're pointing north when you open the app will not show you what is in the sky in the direction that you are looking. It's kind of frozen into what was the last time it was used, or maybe never used at all. So what you have to do, you have to select compass. See the menu on the bottom there. You select compass, and that will then turn your cell phone into a night sky observing device. And then whatever is behind the cell phone is what you will see on the screen. In other words, if I'm holding it to the north, looking through the phone to the north, the sky to the north will be what's on the phone. I can have two different types of display. I can have the vertical, which you see there. And you'll notice that there's some menu options on the bottom: Cosmos, search, selection, settings, time, compass. There's more options than what you see there. And in order to see all of them, you can see the little arrow there, right where my cursor is. And you can just slide it with your finger over to see all of the options. If you rotate your cell phone, now you get a horizontal display, and all of the option menus will be there. So the only ones that we're going to be concerned with in this presentation is the search, the selection, and the compass. The Cosmos, which is in the far left, is not needed for this basic Sky Safari. There's two different colors of views. When you first turn the phone on, you're going to get the blue display that you see on the left. If I tap on the night emblem, which is the moon, then I will get the display turned to red. This is done so that when you're out at night for an extended period of time, you don't lose your night vision, because red light will not destroy your night vision. Then if you want to go back to the blue view or the green view, you just tap the night sky again. You can change the sky display. You do that by one of two different ways. You can click on the plus and minus symbols that you see there, and the screen will get, the display will get bigger or smaller. Or you can do what we most often do with our cell phones, and we just use our fingers to spread the display. And you can see here on the left that Saturn and Jupiter are close together. After I either use the buttons or my two fingers to spread the display, they're further apart. Observing the actual sky in front of you. If I take the phone and I look to the north, I'm going to see that Polaris, which is the North Star, will be out of view. It will be above my display. That's because I've got the cell phone and I'm holding it level with the horizon. If I want to look higher up, I simply move the phone up. I look higher north, and now you'll see that Polaris is in the field of view. So the difference between these two graphics, on the one on the left, I'm just looking at the horizon. But as I move my phone up, the sky comes into view on what's above the initial presentation. Let's now look to the south. We're going to look at what we did in the with the maps. There's Cornucopias. You'll notice that the little white box has come around the S, which stands for south. Now on your phone, of course, you won't have a white box. It's just in the PowerPoint here. But when you look south, make sure that that south is centered in your device there. And there you can see Cornucopias. And just like it was on the sky map, it is to the left of Saturn, Jupiter, and in this case, the moon. Now, for reasons that I can't explain but can only try and decide, you'll notice that I've enlarged the Pluto-Saturn and moon graphic there. And the bright star that you see is actually Jupiter. The wording on the picture would make you think it's Pluto. It's not, it's Jupiter. That's why I've labeled it with a yellow arrow. And then the bright star to the left of it is the planet Saturn. You'll see a little red spot between the stars Saturn and Jupiter. That's Pluto, but we will not see Pluto. It's too dim. I don't know why they even show it here. But you can see here that the moon will be to the right. It's about a half moon. And you'll see Jupiter and Saturn and Capricornus to the left. The right diagram simply shows you the vertical view of the same part of the sky. If you want to narrow your point of view, you want to see more up and down, then you turn it to the vertical position. Now we look to the west. Once again, I want to make sure that I'm pointed west and I have the arrow in the middle of my display. And I look for the constellation Boötes, that ice cream cone that we talked about earlier. And there you see the bright star Arcturus. Finally, we'll view to the north. Once again, I have north in the middle of my displays. Now I identify the Big Dipper or Ursa Major. And then I will find Polaris, the North Star. Polaris is an important star because it's the one star in the sky that does not change its positions. Anytime at night, no matter what hour, you go out and Polaris is always in the same position. If we could see the night sky during the day, it would be exactly where we see it at night. The sky appears to rotate counterclockwise around Polaris. That's, of course, due to the rotation of the Earth. Finally, we'll view to the east. Once again, I make sure that I'm looking to the east. I have E centered in my field of view. In this case, I'm looking for the great square of Pegasus. And there you see Pegasus. I have it outlined on the right side. You'll notice just above the horizon, you will see Mars. Mars will be very obvious to you. It's very bright red, and it will come into great viewing next month. There's a couple different ways that we can identify an object that we're observing, and I'm going to show you the two different methods. Method number one, I tap the object I wish to identify. In this case, it's Polaris. Then an eye will appear next to the object. I tap the eye and it will bring up the object information page. The second way that I can do this, once again, I tap the object, an eye appears. But in this case, I'm going to tap selection And when I do that, it will then bring up the object information page. So there's two different ways to do it. You tap the object in both ways, the eye shows up. You either hit the eye or you hit the selection in the menu. Either way will take you to the object information page. Object information page in this case is for Polaris because that was the object we looked at. And depending on the object, you may even have a photograph, a diagram, other types of information, but information will pertain to the object that you're asking about. Here you see the information about Polaris. When I'm done reading it, I just simply tap on the center button there, and that then will take me back to the position I had prior to the object page, and Polaris will be in the center of the field of view. Let's say that I want to find an object in the sky, but I don't know where to look. I'm looking south, and I want to find Polaris. So what I do is I tap search, and search brings up the search page. So let's look at the search page. The search page has various categories of objects: named stars, nearest stars, deep sky objects, Messier objects, so forth and so on. And you can scroll up and down this menu with your finger. I'm looking for Polaris. I know that Polaris is a named star. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap on named stars, and it will then give me more information. So once I do that, it will now bring up a list of the named stars. And I scroll up and down through the list using my fingers, and I will find the information for Polaris. Here you see it. And it will take me to the object info page. So now let's kind of review what we've done. Viewing to the south, I'm showing you both the map display and I'm showing you the cell phone display. You'll notice that in both cases, I'm looking south. On the left side, I've got a red box around it. On the right side, I got a white box. You'll notice that in both cases, Jupiter and Saturn show up. And then I've also got Capricornus just to the left. So the reason I like using the sky map, it's the kind of thing you can look at before you go outside to get a feel for what do I want to find. And then this will help you do that. There you see again the little diagram where the two bright stars are actually Jupiter on the right, Saturn on the left, Pluto never to be seen, just to show up in the cell phone diagram. So I hope you've enjoyed this little presentation on using your cell phone. Share your observations with friends. There's nothing really difficult about this. It's the kind of thing that the more you do it, the more familiar you get with it, the better you become at it. And it's free, the app's free, you can use it wherever you go. If you go to the Southern Hemisphere, which I did a few months ago, the cell phone worked fine there. It has GPS built in, so it knows where it is. You don't have to do any kind of inputs like that. If you have any questions, suggestions, just give me a call. There's my phone number. There's my email. Now text me and I'd be more than happy to assist you. Thank you for this presentation and have a good sky viewing session.